very beneficial announcements as well. But here on Multi TV and on Minority Caucus, we are having Youth Day. I've always said that the NPP believes in the youth, and so today we've opened our platforms to the TESCON people, that is the Tertiary Confederacy of the NPP. We would have the various schools bring their representatives run through this program, and then you listen to their opinions on the NPP's court case, as well as what it is that they believe Ghana has gone through over the last 100 days. But before that, have you heard that the Supreme Court has agreed to a live telecast of the proceedings in court concerning the NPP's case? If you haven't, then that is it. We heard it also this afternoon on the various platforms, and it's been confirmed through certain quarters that the Supreme Court is likely to allow a live telecast of proceedings in the court building. And so tomorrow, we'll see. Hopefully as well, tomorrow the Supreme Court will start hearing the substantive matter in Akufo-Addo Bawumia and Obechebi Lamte versus 3 others. What really is the case that lies before it? And what exactly is going to happen in these matters as well? We'll go there. But to start it, over the weekend, something very, very evil happened. The police descended on students of Legon and brutalized them. They descended heavily on them, brutalized them, and then proceeded to lock some of them up in police cells. We meet today to proceed with this discussion at Kofi Abrefa Afena, TESCON president of Legon, on my extreme left. Say hi to your people.
Good evening.
And then we have Felix Osafo, KNUST president of TESCON. Felix, good evening.
Good evening.
Kofi, I want you to first of all start and tell me what exactly happened on this weekend.
Thank you very much, Nana. Good evening, and good evening to our viewers out there. And shout out to my Commonwealth Hall boys. And I sit here today as a first-hand account witness of what happened on the very Saturday of the police brutality. In fact, they unleashed what I personally called a vituperative venom on students of Commonwealth Hall, University of Ghana, Legon. In fact, traditionally, Commonwealth Hall starts its Hall Week celebration with what it calls a mega float. Indeed, this mega float across the length and breadth of the principal streets of Accra is to try and create an awareness of what is happening. So the float was christened Hepatitis B, Health Save Ghana. And what normally happens is that we use the things that are happening in Ghana, which are, if you like, hot. We christen the mega floats with that. So we decided to call it the Doomsaw Mega Float. You know, we were all ready to go onto the streets, as we always do, when we saw that the police had taken over the whole hall of Commonwealth Hall.
What do you mean taking over? Commando style, rebel style?
I mean, we saw policemen in their cars. I mean, masquerading and taking over the whole place. In fact, the observatory of Commonwealth Hall and the whole hall were permeated with police presence. In fact, to our utter dismay, they had taken over the central court, including markets and all places that you can think of, ostensibly trying to create the impression that they wouldn't allow us go for our float. I mean, it was quite amazing because it was highly an unmalicious float. I mean, it is something that has existed traditionally, and it
for
wasn't
about how many years?
I mean, since the inception of the hall.
So about 30, 40 years.
Absolutely, Nana. So for the police to come and take over our hall was quite amazing. So we had to go into Georgia with them for us to understand the very rudiments of their action. And they had to tell us that by dint of the Supreme Court case, they are not allowing anybody to go outside. So what happened was that an agreement was reached that we should do it, within the confines of Legon. But one would ask that if such a prevention will come off, then maybe you come with a court order, maybe restraining Commonwealth Hall from embarking on such a float. But there was nothing, for the purpose of documentary evidence like that. There was nothing like a court restriction, a court injunction whatsoever, placing restrictions on us.
So as far as you're concerned, it was an arbitrary action by the police?
Absolutely. Highly undemocratic. And at the end of the day, we were asked to do it within the confines and parameters of Legon.
How did that move to Tetekwashi, and what happened there?
it came to a point that some guys had to walk. They walked, individually outside, campus, and they had to go and do their own thing. So at some point in time, there was some brotherhood, and they started amassing up at around Tetekwashi, and the police unleashed brutalities on them to the point that in the process, some had fractured bones and a whole lot. It was a serious scene. It is condemnable. It was an arbitrariness of whichever heights that you can describe it. And for me, I think it was a doomsday as far as Ghana's democracy and rule of law is concerned.
Felix, you are a student leader. Listening to the account of these things as you have just heard them, how does that make you feel? Is our democracy under threat?
Absolutely. But before that, thank you very much, Nana, and very good evening to all our cherished viewers. And very good evening to Nana Dodankwa-Kufuado and all the petitioners. And very good evening to all TESCON members at KNUST. Nana, listening to my brother, I find it to be very undemocratic for something of this sort to happen to students. I am not on Legon campus, I'm on KNUST campus. But reading this from the media landscape, I got the impression that this country now has turned into a police state. This is not the first time the police is doing that. Nothing has been done about that. I think it's about time the police will be bring to book, because you cannot do anything just for doing sake. Students, you cannot prevent students from going to a float. They were not going for any demonstration whatsoever. But then even on our constitutional right, you cannot prevent any citizen of this country from going for a demonstration, let alone a float. So in simple terms, what I can say is that what they did is undemocratic, very wicked, and they have to be brought to book.
Okay. Now, I'm particularly concerned about this, and those of you on Legon campus, I want to hear your opinion of this. You think that this administration is trying to take away the expression of the people, the right of free speech, the right of association, the right of all those other human rights? Is that the impression you get?
Nana, I mean, you can even say more than that.
Yeah.
Clearly, I look at it from the point of view of paranoia. It is as though the government is doing certain things that they feel the people are disenchanted, they are disappointed, and they are disillusioned. And the very opportunity, there is going to be a civil unrest. And for that matter, the government under John Dramani Mahama would want to turn Ghana into a police state. That is the very reason why they want to clamp down on all public processions, demonstrations, or if you like, harmless floats like that of Commonwealth Hall. There is even the argument that they decided to unleash such vituperative venom on Commonwealth Hall because of the caption of the float, Doomso float, which is traditional. It was without any malice. It was underpinned with just fun. But it is as if the government currently has a certain paranoid posture towards agitations. And for me, from where I sit, it is bound to happen. Because if you have a government that is witnessing an unprecedented era of labor agitations to the extent that it is as though there is a blast of a whistle. The Ghana Medical Association is going on strike. UTAG is on strike. Currently, if we wake up on our university campuses, aimlessness is the order of the day. Students loiter about, and one can guess the kind of disadvantages and the demerits that these things come with. So for me, it is a sense of paranoia on the part of government. It is in Chi, as in our local parlance, as we will say, wabo abra usu. The environment is not safe, but they are preventing you from expressing your constitutional rights. Okay. And for me, that is the kind of paranoia we are exhibiting.
Well, I'm still finding this difficult to come to terms with, because I never believed that this could have happened in the Fourth Republic of Ghana. But Felix, you think that the government has grown so paranoid to the extent that it just does not want the anger of the people to be expressed for fear that it will fester?
No, absolutely. I think that what the Mahama and Mr. Arthur government is trying to do is to just cover up the democratic environment that we are enjoying. Because you can't just enter into someone's campus, or you can't just prevent students from going to a float. Even you cannot prevent anybody from going to a demonstration or so ever. Nana, I recall that NUGS, National Union of Ghana Students, were also going for a demonstration. And the government also prevented them from going for a demonstration.
That's beside a fact that has been prevented twice.
Beside a fact, National Union of Ghana students were also going for a demonstration. The police also did not give them the permit to go for the demonstration. What are we witnessing in this country? Is this country a police state or a democratic country?
Okay, now I want to ask both of you a question. You think John Dramani Mahama is becoming a dictator? Is this the beginning of a dictatorship?
It is an understatement. It is me. I see him as a domestic dictator because once in a democratic, in fact, in a constitutional democracy like ours, some of these things start happening, then you need to watch out. Because we live in a system where the economy, as we have been told, is down to the bone. We have people, in the face of excruciating economic conditions, witnessing payments to people who do not deserve it. And for me, it is an avenue, it is a platform that is likely to precipitate or even trigger people's emotions, and this could lead to civil unrest. So the only option for the government of the day is to clamp down on some of these activities. I mean, they are hiding on the back of the Supreme Court, the matter before the Supreme Court, which for me is highly unjustifiable, because clearly what is happening in the Supreme Court is there. What is happening in the nation also ought to happen. So if you tell us that because of the Supreme Court, the petition before the Supreme Court, things ought not to happen, there should not be labor agitation, there should not be anything as far as people exercising their constitutional rights are concerned, then clearly it is an attempt to if you like, place some restrictions on due ones for that matter on the entire populace, which for me is a mark of dictatorship.
Let's move away from that. Let's come to the first 100 days of John Dramani Mahama's administration. Now, first of all, the point needs to be made that for us in the NPP, we do not see this as being just 100 days of John Dramani Mahama, because he's technically been in power for about 8 months. But let's give it to them. Let's assume that John Dramani Mahama has never ruled this country before. 100 days. What do you see of his performance?
Thank you, Nana. I think that you said it right by saying that John Dramani Mahama, His Excellency, has not been in office for only 100 days. If you recall, he was the vice president for this country for 4 good years. And I think even at the latter part of the administration, in the sudden demise of the president, may his soul rest in peace, Professor Mills, he took over the reins of power. But then, in his first speech after the demise of the president, Mills, he made a statement that he was virtually the president, which means he was the president for 4 years. And now adding up the 100 days to waste is much that he has to produce something for Ghana to see.
If you had to mark him over 100, what percentage would you give him for his first 100 days?
Now, interesting, you know something, I just read something about Imani marking 47. And I think Imani did not do, to me, they've given me something. Personally, if I want to give John Dramani Mahama a mark percentage, I'll give him about 25%. 25% because of what he has done. Nana, we have noticed and witnessed in this country the erratic power supply, the doomso slogan that we now have. And now people can even see you, meet you everywhere, and greet you, Mimao, doomso, Mahama. The response is Mahama. This is what is happening.
The other one is
country.
that if you're to say, you say in confirm P.
In confirm P. And this is what is happening in this country. It shouldn't happen in this country, Nana. So if you have a president governing this whole nation, a democratic nation, like nation which has natural resources, and you cannot manage our natural resources very well, to the extent that we have erratic power supply, to the extent that we are even rationing everything. Water, electricity, whatever you can even think of. This is the gas. This is the presidency or the government that we are witnessing for the first 100 days. Now I can also say something about the corrupt deals that has characterized this government. We can talk of the 15 million Sontaba. Is it the guinea fowl deal with a Sontaba? This is ridiculous.
Now, you see, over the weekend, I had a conversation. I just want to butt in to bring this light onto everything. I had a conversation with somebody who lives up north. Now, the idea he gave me is that these guinea fowls do not lay and hatch them. They actually just lay and leave it like that.
Exactly.
So the eggs are then picked up by the farmers and sent to the market. So if you say you want to find even 50,000 eggs today, you cannot find it.
You cannot find it, yeah. there's this funny twist that even when you go to Aswantaba, where they are rearing this guinea fowl, and you want to have a view of the guinea fowl, they will tell you that the guinea fowl flew to Burkina Faso. So very interesting, Nana. Very, very interesting. But this is not the only thing that is happening in the first 100 days. We've also seen the SADA saga. Now people are even calling for the removal of the SADA boards and so on. And so forth.
Investigation.
Exactly. The 330 billion old Ghana cedis. And this is what is happening in this country. Meanwhile, the president has told us that we have eaten all the flesh.
It's down to the bones.
Exactly.
Perhaps we need to get our hammers and chisels to get a piece of the bones.
Exactly, Nana.
Okay, so wrapping up on this particular group, Kofi Abrefa,
Nana,
what do you have to say about the current condition, 100 days in office?
Nana, it has been disappointment, it has been disenchantment, it has been despondency. And for me, I say that the situation in Ghana currently reminds me of a poem I learned in SHS. Turning and turning in the widening jar. The falcon cannot hear the falconer. Things fall apart, the center cannot hold. Mere anarchy is loose upon the world. Yeah. And that is the kind of situation that Ghana finds itself under the judgment dead manager, JDM they call him. I mean, we live in a system where our national coffers have been depleted, corrupt deals, and you cannot come to terms with why. Currently, our economy is running on a debt to GDP ratio that runs to about 60%. And this is a worrying phenomenon. We have our economy running on a budget deficit of 12.1% minus arrears. And we have arrears 4 billion. So if we add the arrears, we run into about 20%. And this is a worrying phenomenon. The NDC 3 and 4 administration has borrowed more than any other government from Nkrumah, and still there is nothing to show. There is nothing visible to show, and that is the kind of administration we have. Our National Health Insurance Scheme that was introduced by the Kufuor administration, though a liberal Democrat, one would expect that why would a capitalist introduce such a very meaningful social intervention, which is in place for the downtrodden and the poor in the society. At the end of the day, we have the National Health Insurance Scheme owning 70 billion, to the tune of 70 billion, some mission hospitals in Ghana. And this is the kind of Ghana that we are witnessing. And they want us to praise them for the first 100 days. Nana, I beg to differ. And for me, I think the battle is still the Lord.
The battle is still the Lord, so says the gentleman from Legon and KNUST. Coming up, we'll have two ladies in the studio to also give us the feminine side of things. Hold on, let's take this break and come back. Welcome back to Minority Caucus. So, Multi-TV apparently has an announcement to make that if you're experiencing problems, that is on synchronized video and audio signals, you have to switch off your box from the mains and then switch it back on after a minute. If you have problems, please call 030-2211-680-325. I'll repeat that announcement. If you're having any problems with your multi-TV Digibox, that is, you are experiencing an unsynchronized video and audio signal, then what you have to do is switch off your multi-TV box and then switch it on after a minute. If you've done that and there are still problems, all you have to do is call 030-2211-680-325. Now, the guests in the studios have been replaced, and now we have Dinah Ameni on my extreme left from Pentecost University. Welcome, madam.
Thank you.
And then we have Nana Adjoa Konto, also from the Wisconsin University. Welcome. Now, I know that you two ladies are attending private universities, so is there anything happening with the strike, or it's still business as usual?
No, it's not affecting private universities.
Can you speak up a bit?
It's not affecting private universities in any way because our lecturers are okay. Yeah.
Okay, and then you?
Yeah, the same thing. Yeah, also, lectures is going on as usual. We will be having our exam early next month, so we are working.
Okay. Now, I just want to ask you, you heard the stories that your brother from Legon had to tell about what happened on his campus. As student leaders, as students, when you hear such stories, Dinah, how do you feel?
I think it's so pathetic because it's really, really appalling, yeah.
Okay, and then you?
Me too. I think it's mind-boggling because I don't remember the last time that when a student wants to go on.
You need to speak up a bit for me. Thank you.
I don't remember the last time that when students have to go on, let's say, a kefit or something like that, so they have to get a police notice. But so, to my disappointment, when I heard this, I was so shocked. This is a democratic society that we live in. It's not a police state where the police have to be harassing people here and there. So it's most unfortunate, to say the least.
You think that our democracy is under threat? As a student, as a young person, you think our democracy is under threat?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow. Okay. Dinah, what do you think about that as well? Is our democracy under threat? And what would you like to see changed about this current situation?
Yeah, I think we are not safe because you can't just be walking around and being... it's really not... There's nothing to write home about when it comes to issues like this, because being a student, you have to be able to express yourself, go wherever you want to go. But here is the case where you go to a place and policemen are all over you, harassing you and all that. I mean, I think it's not really good. Yeah, it's not good.
Let's come to the main issue. 100 days of a John Dramani Mahama administration. We've had conversations about this. Nana Adwoa, how do you feel about John Mahama's 100 days?
Wow. John Mahama 100 days in office. It's so hilarious and mind-boggling because for my part, it's pathetic. Because John Mahama, we shouldn't forget, was a president for 5 months before he was elected. Before he was re-elected again in 2002. And talking about his achievements, but I don't know, but there is nothing to write home about it. Take the economy, for instance. During the 2012 general election, we were made to believe that this economy, that is the fastest growing one in the world, that is also robust, have a very high reserve, but some few months down the line after elections, we cannot even pay our own workers. We see strike here, strike there, everywhere.
Strike everywhere.
Strike everywhere. A season of strike. Now there is a new greetings in time. You see, if you meet somebody, you say, "Me maudum," so the person will just respond, "Yeah, Mahama."
And you keep making me say this. The addition to that is that you have to say, after that, if it's to say, and the person responds, I confirm for, meaning that, how's your home? And he'll respond, it's full of guinea fowls.
Yeah, yeah, because it's not good for our economy. Putting the economy issue aside, let's take the education sector for example. This is a government that promised to make it so quality, but what are we? Is strike. NAT was on strike, NAGRAT was on strike, and now UTAC is on strike. Not to talk of the doctors and the other pharmacists and other health workers. So John Mahama's 100 days in office, in my candid opinion, is miserable.
Okay. Dinah, your take.
Yeah, I think it's a blast. I'm saying this because...
I like your take.
Yeah, it's a blast.
Yeah, it's a total blast. Because talking about when we take our economy, for instance, what they are saying is the interest rate is now on a break or something. How many of us or how many Ghanaians even know about this inflation rate? And when we are talking about inflation rate, inflation and whatever it is, it doesn't bring food on our table, it doesn't put money in our pockets and all that. Ordinary Ghanaians know nothing about inflation rate. Okay, so I think it's a total blast. And when we talk about coming to the educational sector, our lecturers are on strike just because they weren't paid well and all that. When we go to the hospitals, doctors, pharmacists, everyone is on strike. I mean, I think his term of office is a whack. It's a total blast.
You think that this is the sign of things yet to come?
Yeah, because this is what's happening in the early stages. So I'm wondering what will happen in the next years. He can't tell us that he's using this as, like, he's going to correct them and all that. What is happening now is going to happen forever. It's going to continue, whether he likes it or not. It's not going to change. That is how it's going to be.
You agree with her on that?
Yeah, I agree with you.
Okay, now let's home in on the issue. You two are ladies. I mean, you go to the market, you buy stuff. How have the prices changed?
Oh, the price keep on changing every day. And to add to what my sister just said, you cannot put a bottle on nothing and expect it to stand. Definitely it's going to fall. If you compare the 2008 manifesto of NDC and compare it with the 2012, in the 2008, they made mention of things that they were going to do in 100 days, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. But if you compare, it comes to the 2012, their manifesto, there was something like that, which means they did not plan And there's a saying that if you plan to fail, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So John Dramani and Mr. Atta administration, I'm afraid to say, but it's a total failure. They are not going to achieve anything. They can't.
So, some people would want us to believe that there's hope for the future. You think there's hope?
There's a saying that I'll grow better if it's another.
Yeah, if the game is gonna be nice to start from the
it starts from the morning. So if from the early stage, this is what we are saying. I don't know what is going to happen in the next year or two to come. So I don't have any faith in this government.
Dinah, market prices relate that to the economy.
The market prices are so high. I mean, right now we go to the market and we can't even buy anything. When I was coming to school, for instance, I had to just cut down some things because I wasn't able to buy so many things. The prices are so high. I mean, we can't buy things in the market now. Everything is high.
So what you're telling me, are these your personal views, or you think these are reflected in the general student body?
It's reflecting everywhere.
It's not even within the student, it's within the whole Ghanaian economy. Take the average Ghanaian, for instance. He doesn't know anything about these inflationary figures. This is for the educated masses.
And for our notice, it's no longer single digit anyway.
Oh, okay. But they are not saying it. Because I've not heard them say anything like that. All that we've been hearing is single digit. But Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia made a statement. He said you can do propaganda with the inflationary figures, but the exchange rate is going to expose you. You will tell us, you've been telling Ghanaians that you have a single digit with Midonyami exchange rate.
Very, very interesting points that are coming from the ladies in my studio today. But let's move on to the NPP's court case. What do you know about it? What have you heard about it?
Oh, what I've heard about it is I know and I believe in our competent court of jurisdiction that they are going to give a firm and a good judgment. Because I've seen and I've heard the evidence that NPP have presented before. So I have no doubt in mind that by the end of this year, Ghana is going to have another president in the person of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo.
Dinah.
Yeah, I think with the court case, we really have a case. We really have a case, because if we have no case, we'll not go to court at all. And I'm pleading with the judges and everyone to just do what they have to do. Yeah. They shouldn't rule in favor of anybody. They should just say what they are supposed to say, and they should let God lead them. We know that the battle is still the Lord's. They should just go by what they are supposed to go by. They shouldn't rule in favor of someone because the person is the president, or they shouldn't. They should just do what they are expected to do. That's all. Okay.
Now, I just want to ask this question. You and your friends have had conversations about this court case, right?
Yeah.
If I get it, what was the conversation about? How is it going? Because I'm trying to give a feel of what is going on in the student body to the parents and the elderly generation out there in the Ghanaian public. What really is the mood of you and your friends?
The mood within the campuses across Ghana is everybody is praising the NPP and Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo for deciding to go to court instead of taking up arms, because similar thing happened in other African countries and they did not go to court. They did what was not expected. They don't expect it happening there. But here it is the case that this Emma said, yes, I've lost the election. I'm not going to allow my followers to take arms and go to war. I'll go to the courts to seek redress. So everybody is praising the NPP and Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo.
Dinah, saying?
Yeah, I think with the case, we just have to pray. My colleagues are like, oh, this one, dear, we know that we will win because we have the Bawumias and all those intelligent people who are going to lead the case and all that. Like, we have confidence in the party members. We know that we will come out victorious. That's all.
Okay, so you happen to have been at where, the whole tabulation and everything was going on today. Yeah. Dinah, what was your impression when you saw it?
I was so happy. I was like, whoa, we have all these evidence. That it means that we really, we are coming out successful. And I know by the end of the case, we are going to see Nana Addo as the next president of Ghana.
Your confidence has been boosted by what you saw?
Yeah.
Okay, before you saw the evidence, how much confidence did you have?
I was saying to myself, I was like, what's really happening? I wasn't hearing anything about the issue, and when I asked, people go like, they are still on it. So I was just asking myself, when at all are they going to start with the proceedings? Because they kept me in suspense. I was always eager to know what's going on. And when you ask, someone will go like they are on it. So I was asking myself, when at all is this issue going to end? They were really putting me in suspense. So I was happy when I came there and I saw all those people working. I was so happy.
And Aja, you've seen this stuff. What do you think?
Me, right from the start, let me be honest, I had confidence because I know Nanado. As a competent lawyer, he has distinguished himself.
Some people say he's not a lawyer.
Oh, for that, that's to them. To me, I know him to be a lawyer. He has trained a lot of lawyers. Mention any good lawyer in this country, and that person was trained by Nanado Dankwa. You want me to mention names?
No, I don't want to say
Any good lawyer in Ghana was trained by Nanado Dankwa. So if such a person would not just go to court in a vacuum, he has evidence to prove his case. That's why he went to court. Me, from the first day that he went to court, I had
very strong confidence.
Strong confidence in the destiny that we are going to win. And of course, we are on the winning path.
So when you go back to school and people ask you what you saw, what are you going to say?
I'll say that I've seen all the evidence. And I know that by the grace of God, inshallah, we are going to win the case. The battle is still the Lord's.
The battle is still the Lord's.
Yeah.
I think that what we'll have to do as a country together and the NPP family is that when we go to bed or before we just go to bed, let's go down on our knees and say a prayer to the Almighty God. And we know, inshallah, that the God that we serve is a faithful one who will rule in our favor for us. The battle continues to remain the Lord. Stay on. I'll bring a different set of very interesting guests and this show will continue. You day. Welcome back. It's been very interesting today. We're having Youth Day on Minority Caucus. What we're doing is that we're bringing students from the various campuses and then we want you to hear their views on the matters that are happening in Ghana. Now I have Nana Jumo from the University of Cape Coast on my extreme left. My class 1 teacher should be with me tonight, man. Nana, welcome.
Thank you.
And Ikia Asantoa Eduse from the University of Professional Studies, Legon. Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so you've seen what your colleagues have had to say. For me, my personal issue comes with the brutality that was meted out to students on Legon campus. Asantua, your opinion on that? You're very close to the place.
Yeah, to me, I think it was uncalled for. Because students were not going to demonstrate, but they were just going to create awareness for the people of Ghana.
Hepatitis B.
Yes, on hepatitis B. But this is the situation, they were not given the chance. Rather, instead of the police to sit them down and talk to them, they rather attack them, which is uncalled for. What are they trying to tell us? We are students of the country, and as students, we have our rights. So I don't think their rights should be taken away from them. They have the right to go on a float. And as I heard from some of them this morning on Radio Universe, they seek for permission from the police.
Yeah.
But what do we hear? Even I learned some of them are in the hospital now. Yeah. And I send my condolence and I sympathize with them. But very soon, everything will be okay.
Thank you. That's a Kia Santua for you. Nana Jomo, what do you say? UCC?
Yeah, thank you, Nana.
Are you in Casford Hall?
No.
You're not a hard boy.
Please, no. I'm not here, guy. Or say Mariners. I will just serve our 50th anniversary and then our whole week celebration just ended this week. In it, we have vandals. Vandals are our sister, our brothers and sisters. So in that they came and then we celebrated together.
Which one are you affiliated to in tech? Conti or
Conti? Serious
Power.
Conti Power. Yeah. We have all of them together and then in it we have our float. We went for our float and then after
nothing happened.
Nothing absolutely happened. After the school administration
that's news for me. You are allowed to go for a float in Cape Coast.
In Cape Coast.
But in Accra they said no.
That is what I'm surprised of. That's actually what I'm surprised of. For all that I know, I think after administration are giving you the green light to go on float and those things, you have every right, absolute right to go on float. So I'm much surprised about what really happened. But just like my sister said, we want to extend our sympathy to our brothers who got wounded and then some of them that they are in hospital. We wish them a speedy recovery and then the rest. We plead that those people who meted out those brutality to those students have to be investigated and then brought to book. I think that may serve the interest of the whole student body.
But I want to throw a challenge to the youth of Ghana that find more creative ways of expressing your anger against this government. Let them use the laws, let them do whatever it is that they can. But let's be creative. Let's find more ingenious ways of telling the government what it is that we want to tell them, whether they like it or not. First 100 years of John Mahama in power. Nana Jumo, how have you seen it?
Well, disappointment, and some of us are not much disappointed because we know the man. Right from the time the man was even the vice, he was assistant professor, the late Professor Amos. We saw the major project that the Professor Amos entrusted into this, and we saw what happened. We are talking about the STS Korea deal. All of us are aware of what happened.
But if you hold on for me at this moment, I'd want to open the phone lines. The phone lines, as always, are 030-2211-701-324. Just join us. I'll take just about 3 calls. 030-2211-701-324. Nana Juma, back to you.
Yes, by the Korea deal, all of us realized what happened. We are talking about the buying of the planes. We saw the corrupt deals that characterized everything that took place then. The high inflated amount of prices that are associated to the components of those planes and the rest. Right. So some of us are not much surprised about that demand performance.
You think he's
of these
mediocre?
Of these 100 days. And even back to the time he was an MP, if you go to Bole, you will see clearly what has he done there.
Let's hold on. We have Kabila from Wa. How are you, my brother?
Yeah, fine, thank you very much. This is Admuda from Wa.
Oh, Admuda, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
We should meet up one of these days.
Congratulations to you and my colleague youth. This demonstrates that the NPP believe in the youth. NPP are the first people who believe in the youth before any other political party. But first, I want to tackle John Mahama's 100 days. For me, I think that the leadership in this country is of little mind. They do not think outside the box. And this is why we need Nana Akufo-Addo. That is the only person who can think outside the box, who is creative, who can save Ghanaians from this mess that is being created by JDS.
Thank you very much, Ademuda. I would have to move on and pick Ochre. How are you doing, my brother? Please turn down the volume on your television set, please.
Okay. Ochre coming from Agwenku.
Yes, sir.
Master, I want to speak key.
Okay.
And I'm saying, NDC, one member, Master. And you because what by Massa, I would sure is your money. But you question a deeper senior. We see that damn for what dear Mona and your man can do what that you class for Nadia. Ubimo 1, 2, Apana farm man and Ado, my 7. One won't be my maybe what about the man. Fencing, appeal in that or that amount for nearly Sapanity or 2 man and Ado.
Thank you very much, but unfortunately, I would have to move on to Kingsley. Kingsley, how are you doing?
I'm fine. Good evening.
Good evening, Chief.
I'm speaking from Odoko. Please let me speak to you so that you can understand me well.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. Nanadu Beba, my youth, what students, move from Paibo, NDH. Why, Damasipa, Nejumapa, Moyena, John Mama, the 100 days, media, woman, 1,000 years going to be nation.
Thank you very much. And you're my last caller. I would have to translate what they said. The last 2 callers who spoke to you basically said the same thing, that they don't believe that John Mahama can't do anything, even if he's given 1,000 years. His first 100 days has been a failure. Their second call, actually, went on to say that John Mahama came into power through deceit. He came into power through lies. He spread a lot of the country's wealth around, seeking to gain electoral favors as a result of that. And even that, he could not succeed, and so he had to end up rigging the election. Well, those are his opinions, and that is where we are. Back to you, Nana Juma, wrapping up on what you're saying.
Thank you very much. Now, if you look at during Professor Amos' era, before Professor Amos came to power, he actually set a certain standard that within 100 days, this is what and what he's going to do. Though he failed woefully, because promised that he's going to keep a clerk, he ended up introducing even more cholera into the system. Are you getting it? Do you think that standard alone, this particular government, it did not even go there at all, thereby pulling the bar down so that you not get pressure on him? Are you getting it? So clearly, they themselves prepare their mind and they know that they are coming to fail. Now, if you look at the economy, just from 2 days ago, we're hearing this economy has been the best whatsoever. What and what? The inflation. Talking about inflation. Now, today, they are telling us that the economy that we are having is down to the bone. And then even with that one, they are still even inviting people to bring chisel and other things to come and scratch out those bones. Are you getting it? So clearly, and then the economy that have been characterized with agitations from all corners of the society, then clearly it tells you that we have not been told the truth.
That bone speech you just said reminds me of that song. There is a bone standing, bone standing. Anyway, let's go back to you, Caucus, and so just wrapping up on it. First 100 days of JDM, how have you seen it?
Okay, I would say for the first 100 days of Professor, Mr. John Dramani has been hectic, pathetic. There's oppression and suppression all over the country. Why do I say this? Students are working on campuses without lecturers in class. We've all experienced drastic increment in prices of fuel. There's shortage in the supply of water. And also, our doctors are on strike. Our pharmacists are also on strike. What happens? We've seen the collapse of the National Health Insurance Scheme, which is making it very difficult for the poor to have access to better health care. And right now, what do we see? Students are being suppressed. Whilst we students want to come up to let the government and the whole country know that we students are the losing end, this same government is preventing students from we coming out with our grievances. Rather, they've assigned certain people to come out with anti-alliance worldwide against students. And when NUCS, the mother body of students, stood up to go on a demonstration, they were prevented. Yeah. Why should all this be happening? Education is a right, not a privilege. It is our right to have access to good education, but we are being denied. And as my memory serves me right, he said, quality education, working for us. But what do we see in the economy now? Suppressing us. Suppressing us. Civil servants are crying because for months now they've not received their salaries. Doctors are also crying because their needs have not been met.
Take a breather, my sister. I understand the pain, I understand the frustration, and this is what we happen to be seeing in today's Ghana. For me, my take on these things is that as the youth of Ghana, there's a song that says that, arise Ghana youth for your country. The nation demands your devotion. I'm throwing a challenge to all of us out there. Let's get together. Let's think of finding creative ways of being able to express our anger against this government. They cannot suppress the people of Ghana. Our motto is freedom and justice. We demand that freedom whilst we are in court demanding the justice associated to it. My name is Nana Kofi Opondama. This has been Minority Caucus Youth Day. I hope you enjoyed it. You've gotten to know the views of the younger generation, and this is Ghana. Good evening.